Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord. Super excited to be with you here this morning. A good time is going to be had by all. I'm just saying. So I got a ton of stuff to deliver to you guys today. Some awesome updates on deals that we're working on. Last week, even for elite investors, last week was challenging. I had 3 closings that we were going to close all 3 in the same day. I'd never done that before. I'd done 2 in the same day, but never 3 in the same day. And all 3 of them needed extensions. One needed extension for insurance, one needed extension because of appraisal, and then the other one needed extension for what did it need extension for? Oh, something wasn't done with the note. That was the private financing deal that I'm doing. So yeah, so anyway, Lumberjack Landlord, super excited to be here with you this morning. I'm Matt, aka the Lumberjack Landlord. 120, still 124 units, 43 buildings. That number will drastically increase next week. But here to talk about real estate. We're going to cover 2 main things today. One is I want to talk about fear. And the second thing I want to talk about is actually a subscriber question that I'd love to run by you guys, just kind of talk about it. But we will do again today, this week. This is actually the last week that we're doing the t-shirt super chat. So for every super chat that you do, $1.99 or higher, you get your name entered into the drawing for the one time only, the only time we'll ever have this logo on a black shirt. It's the only time only. And when we do a print run of shirts, we don't do that many. We don't do thousands. We literally do 100 and something. So it's the only one that will be like that. They will be available via the website. I have a call with the website guys this week. I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday, so they'll finally be live on the site, and we'll get those things out to you guys. But again, Lumberjack Landlord, here to spend time with you guys, answer some questions. Phil Nealon, thanks so much. Appreciate the $1.99 super chat for the great show. I will give you a great show for $1.99. But guys, I really appreciate you guys being here with me this morning. What I wanted to talk about today was, and started off just talking about it, is fear. If you were watching the news, watching the financial channel, watching anybody talk about anything when it comes to the housing market, everyone is scared out of their mind about, oh my word, what's going to happen? I get it. It's fine. That's the way it goes. There's been an excuse, like Dion actually did a video where it talked about the excuses that everybody made every single year for the last 10 years of why they didn't buy real estate. So I get that something bad is coming, and we don't know exactly how bad, we don't know exactly how long, we don't know exactly how deep this is going to go on for. I get it. I get it. The challenge is that you have studied and you have done the work and you have done the research. And so what I want to do is I want to help differentiate fear from lack of preparedness. Often they're linked. They are linked because that lack of preparedness should create fear. If you're going to try and do something that you have not prepared for, and you're guessing and you have no idea what's left to come, guess what? That fear is a good fear. That's a good fear. If you're going to do an Evel Knievel motorcycle jump and you've never done any training for it, you should be afraid. You are likely going to crash and burn because you haven't prepared yourself for it. So the most important thing that I want to talk about when we talk about fear is there is healthy fear, and it's really much more of self-observance, recognizing that I've not done what needs to get done to get there. But there's the other side. There's that camp of us that do the work every single day. There's the camp of us that push hard, that we sacrifice time sleeping. We sacrifice time with our kids, with our family, with doing activities. We sacrifice that time. And the faster that you want to make that happen, the more time often that you sacrifice. I know a lot of people talk about 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. I get it. And that's a nice habit to get into. That habit's important, but I'm broken. We all know this. I admit that when I'm on something and I'm trying to learn about something, I want to consume as much as I possibly can consume. And I'll say when I'm done consuming, because I want to really learn and master what I'm trying to understand. Now, if you're one of those types that likes to dive all in like me, I get it. But it doesn't mean diving in and making decisions. It means literally skilling up and making sure that you're really understanding what it is that you're trying to accomplish and what the pitfalls are, and making sure you understand how to mitigate them. What makes a real estate investor elite is, yes, they absolutely get deals that newbies don't get, for sure. However, the biggest difference between an elite investor and a newbie is the elite investor knows exactly how to pivot and know when to walk away, and also know when to stay in, and just make sure that they're following through and they've maybe created a different exit, if you will. So I would encourage you guys, the way to eliminate or the way to drastically reduce fear is skill up and understand what you're trying to accomplish in the goal, and recognize that it's not going to happen easily. The second thing is, this isn't 6-minute abs or 8-minute abs. I don't even know what that video, I don't remember if it's 8, 7, or 6. I think it's the 8-minute ones. And then somebody wants to do ones for 7. It's not that fast. It's just not that fast. This is you're learning a new discipline, job, or skill. And this is important to understand. That fear gets less and less and less the more and more you understand. I used to go absolutely mental when I was in my first 5 years of my journey. When I heard that we needed a new hot water heater, I would go, oh, I would go apoplectic. Because I was like, man, unbelievable. And it was just like that, in the deals that I was doing at that time, they were skinnier deals. And so that really set me back. Over time, as you get bigger as an investor, as you do more properties, as you have more income, as you create better and better deals, as you have more margin, when you look at all those things, it really does become very process oriented. And that's what I've done. In the last 22 years, I've created the process by which I build and I grow my company. So if you're new, if you're a new investor, take heart, continue to do the work, continue to skill up. And honestly, it's important to generally understand what's going on in the market. Do not feed yourself, right? Do not feed yourself nothing but crash videos. If you do, guess what? You're going to stay on the sidelines. You might miss an opportunity. Still do the work every single day. I've turned deals away this week. I turned 2 deals away that 6 months ago I probably would have done. Rates were a big difference, right? But also the state of my portfolio and what I'm doing in getting the portfolio more ready and more prepared to increase margin and increase revenues on existing units. When somebody moves out, I want to redo the unit because I want to scale up and I want to get more money. I had 3 re-rents this week, 3. Those re-rents went from, and these were tenants from only the last year. Those re-rents went from 1,900 to 2,400. They went from they went from 1,200 to 1,700 with a $500 increase. And they went from, what's the last one? The last one was the smallest. It went from 22 to 25. So for all those people that think rents are crashing, listen, I've got the perfect metaphor for you guys that you guys can carry with you everywhere. When somebody says, the real estate market's crashing, the real estate market's crashing, do you know how much we physically felt Hurricane Ian in New England last week? We didn't feel it one bit. We feel bad for the people that went through it. It was a horrible ordeal. It destroyed lives. It took some lives. It's horrible. However, put in perspective, it has nothing to do with the market going on in New Hampshire. or Massachusetts or Las Vegas or Oregon. The real estate market is like weather. What's going on in Las Vegas has zero to do with what's going on in my market. So while guys talk about the national market all day long, here's what I'll tell you. 99% of the time, you are the expert in your market more than anybody else talking online. You are. 99% of the time, I will take your opinion, a subscriber, a viewer of my channel, over some national guy. Generally, I want to know where the rates are. Generally, I want to know the health of the economy. Generally, I want to generally understand those things. But what's happening in housing in Las Vegas has zero bearing. It looks nothing like my market. I know I'm shopping there for a second home. It looks nothing like my market at all. Zero. So I would encourage you guys, don't fear. I would encourage you guys, continue to skill up, continue to review deals. You never know. I had a deal literally based on my saying one thing to one person. They go, you know what? I think I actually know somebody. That was just by my doing my part, which is letting people know what I'm interested in, what I'm looking for. So I hope that encourages you guys. I hope that gives you some hope. I hope that that really has you refocus and recognize that if you're doing the work and if you're skilling up, you are likely an expert in your area and really understand. There might be things about a certain deal, right, that might be different, but you're the expert on your market. And that is the most important skill you're going to have in the coming months and years. That's going to be the most important skill. Knowing where to buy, knowing where to avoid, knowing where you get good tenants, where you don't get good tenants. These are the things that you guys can do. So I'm really encouraged for you guys. Don't be fearful. I've got a lot of deals. I've got 3 deals in contract. I have none after that. It's actually going to be, we had a little bit of a lull for about 6 or 8 weeks where I put nothing under contract, then put 3 things under contract. But I would just encourage you guys, don't be fearful. Continue to skill up. Use this time to continue to go on the journey that you're on. And don't fear. When the numbers are staring you at the face, here's where fear gets you. When you've done all the work, when you've done all the research, when the numbers are showing you exactly what you want to see, and then you don't do anything. That means you're letting somebody else's opinion matter more than the facts of your market and what you're seeing. So I only encourage you, don't be fearful, skill up, continue to do the work, continue to observe yourself in your market. You are the expert in your market. You know that. After meeting with brokers, after 90 days of doing that work, you know that you know more than they do. And I can tell you, in almost every case, you probably do. There's a very few percentage points of people that are going to know more than you guys on this stuff, I'm telling you. Sorry about that. Apparently, I had my speakers just a little too loud. I think I just turned it down. Nope, I just turned it way up. Now I'll turn it down. So I encourage you guys. I hope you guys have an awesome week. Let's jump into the super chats at least to start. Let's see here. Ryan Allen. Lexi, what happened to his hair? No hat today? Yes. Yes. Yeah, no hat today. What happened to my hair? I didn't start off with my hat on, so it didn't get all messed up. And so I just left the hat on. So good question, Lexi. Well done. Robert Farinelli. Good morning, Matt. Got some questions for you. Okay, Robert, I will get to those questions. Oh, wait, did you ask me any other questions there, Ryan? Oh, and also, sorry. Phil Nealon, thanks for the super chat. Oh, Phil, there. Is there anything you disagree with Dion where you crush him with your rightness? Oh, Phil. Is there anything I disagree with Dion on where I crush him with my rightness? Yeah, one area. Yep, that's a really good question. Damn. Yeah, and I know he's watching too. That's all right. I don't care if he's watching. Because he knows we actually talk about this offline. So Dion loves the consistency of a tenant. He loves the fact that they're in there for 6, 8, 10 years. He loves the binder strategy. He loves not going after the increased rents, except through the binder strategy. Totally get it. His model. He wants to be the lazy investor. That might be a really good name for a channel, actually. I could never do it because I don't qualify. So he likes to be the really lazy investor. He likes to keep them the way that they are, nice units, clean and safe units. That's what he likes to keep. That's a fantastic model. I love that model for him. I hate that model. I hate it. I like it for a portion of my portfolio because when we absorbed and brought in a bunch of properties in the last 2 years, I wasn't going to evict everybody to then upgrade their unit. Made no sense. However, what does make sense is that, Dion made the example where, he was able to get those tenants out, even though they had done the binder strategy, get those tenants out, basically do a small refresh on his units, a little bit of electrical work with some nice lighting, actually watch the Lumberjack Landlord review series. Thank you, Dion. And you're welcome. But he actually watched that series, and in watching that series, he was like, yeah, I can do these lights, I can do new switches and new plates, and I can upgrade the level, some new paint, a little bit of flooring. And so he upgraded the level of his unit. Nothing crazy, a few $1,000. I think it was less than $5,000 is what he spent. Here's what was awesome. He rented that unit for, I believe, either $500 or $600 more a month. So I always like to say, when tenants say to me, yeah, that's a ridiculous number, we're going to move. I completely understand. And then they come back and they say, well, can you do this number? And the number might be $400 less a month. Listen, I get that you think we're really close friends, but I can't afford, we don't know each other well enough, and I don't like you well enough to give you $4,800 over the next year. And heaven forbid, if you stay for 2, I don't like you enough to give you almost $10,000. I don't. There are people I really like that I would never consider giving that much money to. So the really big area that we really disagree, and it's not that I'm right and he's wrong, it's that I don't want to take that path. He's taking a different path. For me, not the path I'm interested in. I'm interested in keeping the rents as close to market as possible, even when you're a good tenant. But when you leave, if I've inherited the unit, when you leave, I'm going to go through it. There is a very good chance I will do a kitchen. There's a very good chance I will do countertops. I have kind of like my $15,000 package, if you will, for a unit. And that $15,000 package is usually bathroom, kitchen, flooring, and paint, and electrical update. And the way that I do it, I can do it for about 15 grand. Dion's argument is, I'd rather just keep the $300 less a month and not have to do the project, not do the work, etc., as far as rehabbing the unit. However, in that model, it does make sense. I think, me personally, is it more work? Is my model more work? Yes. Does it make more money? Likely, but that wasn't his goal. His goal was to keep cash flow and keep his time commitment very, very low. He did get bumps. He absolutely got bumps. But the bumps that I get in a rehab unit in my area, it makes a real difference, because in my area, we have $1 million condos all the way down to $250,000 houses. So my market is really broad where I service. And that's only 3 towns. That's literally that small of a cluster is only 3 towns. So I would tell you that's the biggest area that we disagree. I have a portion of my units that are like him, that are nice, clean, safe units. They're good, and they're not, cutting edge granite countertops, beautiful cabinets, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's the differences mostly in our models. And I think at the end of the day, I am going to get more on my units margin wise. However, he will have less time invested. That's going to be the trade-off. So for me, it's about optimization of the asset. And for him, it's optimization of his time and hitting that barrier of the most money for the time that he's going to invest. And D, if I'm wrong, correct me. I will scroll down to see if he actually answers. Nothing yet. Let's see. All right, Ryan Allen, Lexi, yep, asked about what happened to the hair today. Ta-da. Yep, looking good. Hope the family is well. Thank you, Ryan Allen. I appreciate that. We are good. Family is good. We're running out of yard sale Saturdays, which is a little bit sad because I love yard selling with my kids. It is the favorite thing that I do with them in the summertime. I mean, we get plenty of pool time, but that is probably my favorite thing because watching them learn, teaching experiences, it's just a real good time. So I will miss it. Robert Farinelli, good morning, Matt. Some questions for you. I got you, Robert. The link that you sent us for the rock wool on Amazon was a link to 1-inch thick rock wool. Doubt that's good enough. You need R15, I believe, for the basement sills. Should I just buy it at Lowe's? You can just buy it at Lowe's. What I did was I put the link in there for the least expensive stuff that will at least get you started or do the job. If you want to go heavier, you can go heavier, certainly on Amazon. The only thing that I would tell you is at the present, Amazon was less expensive at the present. So you're more than welcome to buy it wherever you want to buy it, but at the present was less expensive. I'm redoing a house right now, and actually New Hampshire code. The New Hampshire code does not call for an R value. The New Hampshire code says if you are opening up a wall and you want to put insulation in there, you do have to insulate it. It does not give you an R value. You can have them show you the code. I showed an inspector the code and I won because the code does not qualify for an R value. Only if it's new construction does it qualify for an R value. Robert Farinelli, also HD has a Owens Corning brand of mineral wood for cheaper. I'm guessing it's the same stuff. Mineral wood is mineral wool, right? Not that I know of. I don't know that to be the case. I don't know that. So any of the stuff that I post in the landlord reviews, those are the same products that I order and use. So I don't honestly know about the Owens Corning product. I know that Rockwool and Roxel, I know that company was the inventor of it. And that's why I continue to use their product. I've been using it the longest. I believe they have the most innovative. So I haven't deviated from that. I haven't used the Owens Corning product. I do know that they have something like it, but I stick with what I know and stick with what I know works because we put it through it. We know that we don't get complaints on the units that we put the Rockwool in. We know that people are happy with it. We know that it keeps the place nice and warm. We see what the energy bills are. So I only recommend stuff that I've actually used with these two hands myself and then applied in my building. P.S. By the way, it was 39 degrees this morning when I woke up, hence the flannel. Oh, it's good to be back in the flannel, I tell you. And Robert, finally, your last question here that I see close to that chat is preparing for bathroom remodel, looking for a list of where you get the following: bathroom vanity, depot or store, anything special, solid wood, quartz top. The best vanity selection is Lowe's. They're the best vanity selection. Home Depot has cheaper, more poorly made boxes. The line, Allen and Roth, a lot of times you can find their stuff on discount at Lowe's. But that's some of the stuff that I use. One of the other areas that I would look is Facebook Marketplace. There are some people that just didn't like a look. Like there are people that are remodeling bathrooms that are only 5 years old. If you can find a vanity that's 5 years old, it's still in perfect shape. And on the top, it doesn't really matter. I don't mind the formed plastic because it's still pretty stable. So yeah, on a top, I don't necessarily have a preference. If you're higher end, yeah, you're going to probably go granite, but even any of those cultured tops that you get on the vanity, so long as it's a nice box, you're typically going to be okay with. Chester Williams, fear comes from uncertainty, from lack of understanding processes. Yep. And the resulting of lack of action is not from knowing if they're on the right track. I agree. I think that that's really right. I think that the challenge is that if you've done all the research and you recognize what the market is, and you recognize that you're getting, what average return is, and then what great return is, fear is not stupidity. Okay. So stupidity is you're looking at the numbers and they, regardless of how bad they are, you're not stopping. That's not, bucking up. That's stupidity. If something is showing you a 3% return and the market's a 2% return and you're okay with a 3% return, I wouldn't do that deal. That's me. That's for me personally. I would be looking at other assets. I maybe be looking at other markets that are further away from where I live. Because you know me, my job is I want to do it in the market that I'm in and then expand from there. And as I expand from there, I'm looking at towns. There's a town. So, right, there's one town south of me, one town, that bordering town. I will not ever do business there. I don't like the town politics. I don't like the processes. I don't like the inspectors. I don't like anything about that town. And it's a very expensive town. And my returns bury their returns. They bury them. So I'll never do business there for all the reasons I cited, but also because of the returns. So I looked for a unit that was close to me. I wanted within a half an hour. Now pretty much everything I do is within 20 minutes to a half an hour tops. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying there, Chester. Absolutely. I think knowing if you're on the right track is seeing that you're getting those returns is really going to be very important, right? If you're at 3 or 4%, that's a dog. That's a dog market. I'm not doing deals in the 3 or 4% market. That's what that town south of me is. They're like, 6% on a deal. I would never touch 6%. I have no interest in a 6% deal when I can move one town north and I can get 20s. And the whole town isn't bad. There's 2 or 3 streets I will never buy on, but I'm not avoiding the rest of the city because of those 3 streets or those 3 areas. We have a train that goes through town. And if you're on that line, there are streets that back right up to that. I had an investor contact me and offer me 3 buildings that have a backyard. Excuse me, the backyard is the train track. Nope. He's like, I'll give you a good deal. I go, I'm sure. Still not interested. I wasn't interested. I was like, unless you're giving them to me for half price, if I buy them for half, what will I do? I'll get them nice and then I'll resell them because other people don't care about the location and where those are. And they only look at the numbers. For me, I know that those units close to the train tracks, every year, people move in and they're gone the next year. They move in, they're gone the next year. So I don't want to run my business that way. So yeah, so Chester, I agree. I think that being on the right track thing is important. But I think that's really, again, comes through studying and knowing and seeing what the market's doing and seeing what those returns are for you. Dion talk financial freedom. My strategy also doesn't displace a tenant. That's true. That's true. Yep. So largely mine don't displace tenants, but sometimes they do. Sorry, way it goes. Yeah, sometimes they do. Rarely, but I'd say probably 10% of the time. I'd say probably 10% of the time it would displace a tenant. 90% of the time I'm waiting until the unit's vacant. So we'll do basically much like Dion's binder strategy. We'll have that conversation with them. However, there does come that point where, I have a unit right now that I bought the building and they have a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom that they're paying $1,100 for. Section 8 will give me $1,800 for that same unit. So there comes a point where they can't afford to be there anymore. Even if I'm giving them a great deal at $1,500, they can't afford it. And then I'm writing a check for $300 a month. So yep, my deal, absolutely 10% of the time, it's going to displace a tenant. Yep, because it has to. Shirt, lizard, screen printing, and embroidery. I love that. I love it. I love that it says everything that you are in there. I wonder if Dion's still okay. Dion, blink if you're okay out from the quad work. He was doing some heavy quad work this week. It looked awesome. Do you pre-wire your units for cable and internet so installers are not butchering your units? If so, what are you doing? Yes. Yeah, we do that. Yep. So if we are a gut remodel, we actually put coax line in every single unit. We don't run We don't run Cat 6 usually. In the really expensive stuff, we'll run Cat 6, but largely we're not running Cat 6, which is network cable, which is high-speed internet. And instead of through Wi-Fi, it's actually being able to connect in. But if we're gutting it, yeah, we'll run some of that because it's not expensive to run. Coax is very, very easy to run. And so we'll make sure that we're kind of picking which wall works. And so we're just like, yep, we can put it there. And if it's like a living room, we'll actually bring it up through the wall and we'll put it up high. So that way it actually can be, you can put a wall hung TV in there. So we'll have those boxes on the wall. So yes, I absolutely do that. On existing units, it's much tougher. On existing units, if it's a basement unit, then yes, I will make sure that they have coax in a couple of the rooms. If it's a second floor and we can get there fairly straightforward, like there's some sort of a chase there, yep, we will do that. Third floor, probably not. Probably not. But one of the things that we always do in those gut remodels is we do the coax, because I don't know why those guys just don't care about the rules. They don't care. They don't double check. I've seen, and you know who the biggest perpetrator is? Satellite companies. The monstrosity and the wiring garbage jobs that they do, they could not give two cares about what that actually looks like. A majority of them anyway. It's quite annoying, I must say. One of the companies I called and said, yeah, I'd like to see the authorization that I gave you for that. Well, the person there gave us authorization. That's fine. They're a renter. You need to get it from the owner. I know the rules. So yeah, we had a little bit of a tete-a-tete, but yeah, how annoying. It was really annoying. Oh, Jean Carlos Mendez, I missed your super chat. Hey, should I refinance on my 2.75? Nope. Nope. But go ahead. Hey, should I refinance on my 2.75 interest for a 6.5 to take out 50K in equity and buy another property? Nope. I wouldn't. So I've had the opportunity. I have a property right now that is at 395. It's got about 100 grand plus 150 grand I could pull out of it for equity. Nope. No. Because if I refied at that number, the deal barely makes any money. It takes it from a deal that's well into the 20s return on capital, my rock, to a deal that's single digits, 5 or 6. Not interested. Nope. Not interested. Excuse me, just 1 second. I want to make sure this isn't an emergency. Sorry, I want to make sure to get back to a tenant. This is superior landlording. Yes. So yeah, so Jean Carlos Mendez, great question. I wouldn't do it because I think that if you do the math, I think you'll likely turn that into a dog, the rental and what that actually is going to do. And I think that there's a better way to get that capital probably. I would look at the difference of cost of your 2.75 rate going to 6.5, what that difference is on that deal. And then I would look at trying to get a HELOC on that deal and what they're offering. Convoy Mortgage on one rental at a time, they're doing investment property HELOCs. even if you're paying 10% on the 50K, that's probably a much better deal than 6.5 on the whole nut. So, and you can also, just so long as you have some sort of a plan. So I've used HELOCs before. I've used them to buy other properties. I've used them on my primary residence, but it really matters what's going on in the market at that point of what I would do. And so what I would look at is I would look at what your 2.75 is now in your payment. I would then look at the 6.5 and look at what that payment is then at that point. How skinny does that make that deal? And then I would start looking at like a Convoy Mortgage or some of these other places on the investment property HELOC programs that they have, which I believe can be 40-year AM, and I think it's like 10-year fixed, if I'm not mistaken. But I would look at those products and compare what the payment would be there, and then see what the math looks like. I don't know if Convoys is a fixed for a period. It might be like fixed for 10 or fixed for 5, but that's what I would start to look and to evaluate. That's what I would look at. And definitely bring back a question as you have it. Yep, Chester jumping in. That's a great question. No, second mortgage is fixed term debt. You can pull out cash without refinancing. Yeah, second mortgages are tough though on investment properties. Depends on who you're looking at. Yeah, yep. Those are great. Yeah, exactly what those guys said. That's exactly right. Good job, guys. Good job. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. I'll just burn through a bunch of these at the top. All-nighter, Hyder, and Bittner. Hey guys, was hanging out with those guys last night at the Uneducated Economist live stream. Always a good time listening to Simon talk. He's just such a smart dude, and he put so much of his time, effort, and energy into this for people. He's just really a guy that even if we weren't on YouTube, I would still totally hang out with him because I think he's just a good guy. Matt Herbert. Hey, Al, looking forward to a great session with Lumberjack. Thanks, Matt. Great stuff coming too. I've got our property system, the one that we use, our property management product. The one that we use, I'm doing a full-on review of that, but it's based now not on a product tour. It's based on I've actually used it for 10 months. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about that product, because I'm not going to say anything, because I wanted to be that thorough and go through it. And all the things that I couldn't figure out how to do over the last 9 months, I made sure that there was either a fix, not a fix, or something that they were putting into place. Ninja Vanus 24/7. Good to see you. All-nighter Hider. Good morning. Good morning. Financial Fire. Morning. Love the new studio. Thanks very much. Yeah, more coming. It's echoey now because this is a good sized studio, and we haven't done any other sets yet. So this was the basic set that let us get going and let us get all of our product and materials and everything down here and get us going. Mandy W, good morning. Phil Nealon, is there anything you disagree on with the rightness? Yep, I covered that. Lexi, we covered my hair. Matthew Paris, yay me, I survived even with only 2 roof leaks. Could have been way worse. That's great, Matthew. I'm glad you're safe, and like 2 roof leaks is very livable, right? Thank you for doing these. I always learn a lot, Mandy. You're very welcome. Chester, good morning. Matthew Paris, anyone know how to go about filing an insurance claim on a lender-placed policy? I think the same way. I believe it's the same way. Yeah, I think it's the same way. You just call them up, and then you have the policy number, even though it was lender-placed, you were paying for it. So yeah, I would just call them up. Call them up and say, this is my policy number. And then ask them just what their process is. Everybody's kind of different with how they handle that stuff. Some of them want you to do the work for them and give them quotes, and then they deem whether or not it's acceptable. Others will send the insurance adjuster out right away, and they're not wanting you to get quotes at all. Don't pull the trigger until they say pull the trigger. So figure other ways out around how to make that roof not leak, which is kind of challenging unless you can see why it's leaking. All-nighter Hider. That's a lot of hair, enough for both Dion and I. So I literally tried to find out what it would take for me to sell my hair. It has to be too long. I can't deal with it down to here. So they were like, yeah, kind of like down to here if you want to be able to sell it. And I was like, no, I can't look like hippie Jesus. I'm a lumberjack. I wouldn't want my hair to get caught in any of the tools that we use. Matt Bittner, have you recently had sellers accept any lowball offers? How much off the asking price did they accept? Let's see. Yes. Yeah. One of the deals I have closing this week. That was, how much off was that? 575. And we went under for 515. Yep. And so I put that under September 1st. September 1st. So it's been just about 30 days. Yep. Yes. All-nighter hider. That's why I gravitated here. Invest how it is, not how you want it. Yeah, that's exactly right. You know, don't fight the Fed. Don't fight the tape. You know, guys, this is really, really simple. Well, it should be. You never hear those words come out of my mouth. Not, well, it should be. What is it? And they are what they are. That's where Mike talks about beating up his spreadsheet. So for Mike, it was tough because he was going down to Fresno, but he was not able to be in the field every single day. When something pops on my market, I'm there that day, and it's not a team and teaching a team of what I'm looking for and how to do it. And so that's a difference in how we do business. Although for Mike, he wasn't going to move to Fresno. He's got access to a great market. He's built a fantastic team. Just for me, I wanted to be able to control and kind of manage all that. And so for me, again, just kind of a difference was he is very much able to be disconnected from it in a way because it's with property management. For me, I know these houses because I know these neighborhoods because I've been here for 20 something years. And so for me, there might be a house that honestly, it might not have the most amazing 20+% return, but it might be something that I was after for a long time. A little joke on my team was I would get crushed by mansard roof deals. If the house had a mansard roof, I was 0 for 4. Mansard roofs are tough to find because they're very old. They're typically a house with a mansard roof is usually at least 100 years old, usually 120 to 140. And so I was 0 for 3, 0 for 4 on mansard roofs. I think 0 for 4 actually. And so we put one under contract that had a mansard roof, and the deal almost blew up. And I was like, mansard roof. So that's one that's closing next week. So it'll be my first mansard roof. For those of you who don't know what a mansard roof is, you can actually look it up, but it's basically where the windows come into the roof line. And then it's actually got shingles coming down the side of the roof, because the roof isn't just a top. It's more of like it's continued down past the windows. It's an interesting look. I'll send you guys pictures when we get going on that one. Chester Williams, discount points, i.e. buying down the mortgage is part of closing costs and would not be part of the reduction in loan amount, right? Meaning only down payment reduces the LTV. Yes, correct. Only down pay. Yes, correct. Yep, that's correct. It does change yield, but it doesn't change. It does change yield. It does change the rock. It doesn't change LTV. All-nighter hider, bidder in the house. Yep, Bittner in the house. Yes. Right now I'm looking good. Thank you. Buy when people are scared, usually a good time to buy. My PFS, personal financial statement, is massive right now because of all the properties that I bought in 9, 10, 11, and 12. It's massive. Those properties have all doubled or tripled in price, but I wasn't banking on that. I wasn't counting on that. That's what happens when time is on your side and you've got time in the game. It's time in the market, not time in the market. Nicholas Massey. Hey, Nicholas. With the rise in interest rates and likely chances that they continue to go up, do you recommend not leveraging right now? Do we pay down our rentals? Do we save cash for bigger down payment? I don't pay down cheap debt. So on the deals that I had to do where I had to do something that I didn't love doing, like buying with adjustable rate because it's a commercial property, my rate's 3.75. But when it resets in 5 or 6 years, it's going to be 7, whatever the rate is then, let's say 7, 8, or 9. Thankfully, these buildings still cash flow, even with a 7, even with an 8 in front of them. However, I've got 23 or 24 deals where I think it's 20. I've got 24 mortgages that are 30-year fixed rate debt. at 39544.2125. So I've got a lot of deals in there, that are fixed rate, 30 years. That's cheap debt. I'm not ever going to pay that debt down faster. I will always pay down the most expensive debt. And it's only if that most expensive debt has the ability to change. So that stuff that's going to refi in 5, 6, 7 years, that stuff that's going to refi in those times, yes, I'm putting more principal towards the down payment, because it still works where you can do 2 extra payments a year, bring it down to like a 2110 mortgage, and 3 extra payments, I think, brings you into the high teens, like 19 and change years on a 30-year fixed. So I'll make at least a couple extra payments a year to knock off. That way in 7 years, when it goes to refinance, I will have paid down a good portion of that loan. Where when that rate resets based on what's currently owed, or I could refi at that time, that's what I would likely do. That's what will put me in a better position, if you will. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Word for word, exact response to, I think that you guys will find this funny. This is an exact response to, for a particular building, we said, all right, we're taking electric out of our names and all of you need to put electric in your names, because we've seen a blatant disregard for it being in our names. They don't care. Air conditioners in the windows, in October. Okay, you've earned it. Sounds good. So we send something off to them. Let me see here. We sent it off to them, and here we go. Here. She says, are you sure you want me to switch the electricity into my name? My answer, yes. Then I'm so scared. All I see on Facebook is the amount of everyone's bills changing. I'm so scared. Tenants can get payment assistance. Landlords largely cannot. There's a roundabout, long, convoluted sort of way that we kind of can. For tenants, much more straightforward, very, very easy, especially when they're already on a program. So last year, her electric bills averaged $212 a month. She doesn't have electric heat. That is exorbitant. That is ridiculous. That is over the top. So this was one of the ones that came up on the radar that said we have to have them put that in their names. So we did. Interestingly enough, we had them put it in their names, and she literally writes back, it will be amazing. I'm gonna live like the Amish this year. Wasn't living like the Amish when I was footing the bill, but this is the irony. So I would also encourage you guys to watch for this stuff as well. But yeah, as fellow landlords, as fellow investors, these are the kinds of stories that we hear. Over $200 a month was her average. It's not like it was that in the wintertime, or it was like that only in the summertime. It was like that all year round. That was her average. It was constant. And I know that there's no issues with the building because I had it thermal image, the whole 9 yards. So I would encourage you, in situations like this, where they're already maybe on a program, I would certainly look at having them take over that electric bill, utility bill. Just scroll down real quick here. Let's see here. Yeah, so I would not be, and leveraging right now, I'm 70%. LTV is my worst. 70% is my worst. My best is we have a couple that we almost own outright. I'm just finishing off the mortgages. What's up all nighter? All nighter, doing a little bit in there. Yep. Yeah, 8-minute abs. Yeah, that's what I thought. Invest to wealth. Good afternoon. All nighter hider. The word is proficiency. That's what helps sift the fear. Agreed. Jean Carlos Mendez. Anyone here from Connecticut? All nighter hider. That's encouraging. I'm glad. Then Robert Farinelli on the rock wall. Phil Nealon, great message. Love the Chicken Little impression. You're welcome. Robert Fairley, preparing the bathroom for remodeling, looking for a list. Yep, we covered that. Laura Samaniego, good morning, Laura. Chester, gotta find the next step to act on. Make it easy to act. I agree. Guys, I don't know if you watched the video that I did on cost seg, how I saved $100,000 on my taxes last year. Guys, you've got to watch. I busted my butt for you guys on that video, not only getting them to do the video, but getting you a discount out of the gate. You click the link, you get $50 off. I'm telling you, you've got to watch the video. You've got to talk to your CPA. This is part of leveling up. You've got to talk to your CPA. You've got to talk to them about cost segregation. If you bought a property this year or last year, because you can go backwards 2 years, if you bought a property this year or last year, you must talk to your CPA about cost segregation. And if they don't understand it, you need to find somebody that does. The magic of cost seg is that normally accountants account for 27.5-year depreciation over the entire property. Cost segregation does it differently. There are things that can be cost segged 5-year depreciation schedule. 5-year depreciation schedule instead of a 27.5-year depreciation schedule. There's things that can be 15-year depreciation schedules, not 27.5-year depreciations. The only way that you can know what those things are is if you cost seg. It's the only way to know what they are. I'm telling you, guys, I busted my butt on that video for you guys because I know it made a massive difference for me. I couldn't have done all the things that I did last year from a tax strategy perspective if I didn't have cost seg in the mix. So you've got to watch that video, guys. Man, you got to watch that video. I'm telling you, that is a game changer. Robert Finelli, or should I do the following fix and cracks the top fix the crack in the top, new hardware on cabinets, and water shut off as current vanity is nice solid wood? It really depends on what you're looking for. I mean, the thing is with any plumber, they're going to charge you a couple hours, I would say, to put in a new vanity. So it's the cost of the vanity plus probably 2 or 3 hours worth of work and piping. I mean, a vanity change, you can count on pretty much being vanity cost plus $350 to $500. So, you know, it depends on the quality of the unit, the quality of what else is going on there. Yes, you can fix the top. Yes, you can swap out the top because they have tops that will also fit. So lots of flexibility there. Rich Racine, looking good, bro. Back at you, Rich. We'll catch up. I think we'll catch up sometime on Monday. Looking forward to being on Rich's podcast. So that'll be fun. Robert Finley, as for buying cabinets, ever buy from Queen City Cabinetry when you are in Manchester? No. Final part, bathtub refinisher and lumber company for window molding and baseboard. Hammond, if I remember correctly. Final part, bathtub refinisher and lumber company for window remodeling and baseboard. Hammond, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Robert Farinelli, the guys that I used for a long time until I basically got a contract with a cabinet company was Universal out of Portsmouth. You can tell them you have to use my name, Matt. They won't know the lumberjack. All-nighter hider. New switches and outlets do so much more than they cost. Totally agree. I'm actually coming out with a video, which is the $1,000 upgrade. You do those things. You spend $1,000 on your unit, and it has so much more appeal. I'm actually going to show a unit that we had pictures of. I'm going to show it, and I'll show you the befores, and then I'll show you the afters of the person that moved in and how they decorated. she blew it away. The place looks unbelievable. Yeah. And I knew it would. I know it would. Let's see. Matt Bidner, luxury rents are about the only rents I can imagine having the slightest chance of crashing. It's about inventory. It's about inventory. And I think the luxury rents, I think there are going to be people that trade down. Yeah. I think that for sure. Hold on one second. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Chester, yeah. Yep. John Carlos, does your property sell cash flow at 6.5? And will the down payment go to a new property that has a solid cash on cash return? The 6.5 rate. Yeah. I would just look at your debt, all of your debt options. I'd be looking at, like I said, that HELOC. That way you're not giving up your 275. That 275 is more than just the house that makes money. It's that 275, that mortgage is an asset. And with sub 2 being a big thing nowadays, that means a lot. That means a lot. So I would definitely look at that. I'm sorry, I know I'm missing some. Very good, Matt. Show me the contract we have is a powerful statement. Yep, absolutely. 100%. Janelle, hit the like button. When is the merch available to buy, Matt? Janelle, it better be on the site this week. That's what we're talking about with the website guys on Wednesday. So it better be on the site this week. And Tom, if you're watching, put it on the site. I have hung out with Simon. He's just as you think. He's a very cool dude. Yeah, dude. Oh, that's like, yeah, he's just a good dude. I really like him. Phil Nealon, how do you property manage with your software for tenants who may be older and not have a computer, internet, barely a phone? Fantastic question. They still will make a call. They'll still pick up their phone. We have probably 5 to 10% of our tenants that only will do a phone call. They don't do email, they don't do anything else. So they'll still pick up, they'll still make the call. The key is, yes, it's an added effort on our part, but that's fine. It's what it is. The key is making sure that you reduce that drag as much as you possibly can. So we do have that for sure. And then the other thing that we do too is we don't send them email notices. We post notices on their doors because they check their doors. They're around during the day. You know, we will give them a call and say, hey, just wanted to let you know, we put a note outside, make sure you grab it. So yeah, we do that stuff. It is an extra layer of management, but based on the number of tenants that we have like that, it's really not too, yeah, it's probably 5% of our tenants. So it's maybe, you know, a dozen phone calls, but there's never anything where it's all at once, where it's all 12 or 15 or 20 of them. It's specific to their building. So usually it's like 3 or 4 people in the building or 10 people in the building. They get it one way, and then we just make sure that we do it that way for them. For sure. Hey, Matt, I had another 3 questions for my bathroom remodel. Can you please answer them so I can start making calls? Sure. Yeah, let me get right on that. Let me see. Where are they? Okay, there they are. Oops, here they are. Where are they? Okay, yeah, put them in there, Robert. I'll try and answer them as best I can. Angelica P, sorry if I missed it. Have you mentioned which paint brand you use for your rentals? Yeah, no worries. 20 gallons thinking Dutch Boy from Menards to get 11% rebate. Don't know the Dutch Boy product. I know that it's the name, right? But I think that they reformulated it since they sold out. I use Benjamin Moore Regal Select. That's what we use. We've used Sherwin. We used Sherwin for years, which is really like the professional painter's choice because of its durability and its coating, the ability it coats and fewer coats. Home Depot is the world's best seller because guess what? It's sold out of a big box store. And so a lot of people don't care. They need good enough. And Behr products are in some cases good enough. For me, painters always would tell me that with Behr product that they would do more coats, which cost me more money, took them more time, and wasn't as resilient as what we were getting in the Regal Select product. So the reason I went with Benjamin Moore Regal Select was because it had a great product, but also because I was able to work with them as a company and actually get a contract for paint. So now I get a much reduced price because of the amount of paint that I use. But we don't have repaints nearly as often. The cleaners often are able to get the walls clean. So I recommend the Benjamin Moore Regal Select. I think it's a great product and we've never had any issues with it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that product from them. The same product from Sherwin was about $10 more a gallon, maybe $12 more a gallon. And my guys actually, they said, you know what? We can't appreciably tell a difference. They said the Benjamin Moore might be a tiny bit better. But the big thing for us was getting that order done and done quickly. That's a big thing too. The vendor that supports us does a phenomenal job. I can call up and I hear, hi, Lori speaking. How can I help you? I was like, hey, Lori. And she's like, oh, hey, she knows me by my tone of voice. And we don't buy that much paint. We have when we were redoing entire buildings, but right now we haven't bought that much paint. And she's like, okay, what do you need? And I said, our standard color, I need 2 5-gallon buckets, and I need a bucket of white. She's like, okay, sounds good. It'll be ready in an hour. Like, ready in an hour. If I call the day before, she has it ready that night, so the guys can literally pick it up first thing. That's big. That's big. So yeah, Angelica, hopefully that helps you. Pallavi, good morning. Shamir Bless, how often do you service your oil burner? Every year. Do you pay for oil? In some places. I have a duplex with 2 tanks and the tenants pay for theirs. That's good. Yep. The only thing that I would make sure is that you're the one getting it serviced, because they're not going to pay to service it. And you want to make sure that you're getting nozzles clean. I mean, usually a cleaning is anywhere from $175 to $275. You want to make sure that you're getting that thing cleaned every single year. That's what's going to have that thing last 40 or 50 years and not 20, or need a burner rebuild or something along those. Chester Williams, the one thing I forgot to add about getting started, lack of feedback is another reason people don't get started, without knowing that what they are doing is putting them on the right path. Yeah, as far as taking action, I agree with that. Hey, Matt, what do you do with properties that have early versions of Romex but no ground wires? Yeah, we'll rerun. We'll rerun. Most of the times we'll rerun. We won't put an outlet in unless it's actually grounded. You'll find that a lot in older homes where they just basically updated the outlet, but they didn't actually ground anything. So it's not actually grounded, but you think it is, but it's not. So usually, yeah, usually we'll rewire them. You're talking about 2-wire. Yeah, so usually we'll rewire. Yes, sir. Matt Bittner, if you can, you should try not to be responsible for paying utilities for tenants. High energy prices are probably going to be a long-term problem. So yes, I agree with that. And yes, we largely follow that. In some cases, that was the only increase some of our people saw this year. We had a very high share of our tenants that we were paying for their utilities, because we helped out with a couple of the emergency programs, and the emergency programs wanted it here. You just pay for everything and we'll just reimburse you. But they reimbursed at a flat rate amount, and none of those numbers came even close. So in a lot of cases, we were making our, the percentages that we needed to on the units, but we were making drastically less. And we were making drastically less than what we should have been making, because we were covering $220, $212 electric bills, when I think they get an allowance of like 100, and it was double that. So it was $100 a month out of cash flow. Fine. We still made plenty of money because we knew going in, because it was fixed, that we were going to have to charge a higher rate. They didn't argue with the higher rate. They said, no, we understand. I said, okay. I mean, it's business. Ironwood Workman. Hey, why do you like mansard roofs? They look cool as heck. Yep. But more work? Yes. But they increase the value that much? No. I just like them. I think they're cool. There's no newer house that I know of that has a mansard. I haven't seen any newly built house with a mansard. So when I see the mansard, I know it's like an old property. I like old properties because the price per square foot is usually lower, and I can actually get in there and do what I do, which is add value. So I just like the mansard roofs. They were all cool properties. It was just coincidentally, it became a joke. It was coincidental that I continuously got my butt kicked on them. It's kind of funny. I was like, Joe, answer group. We started calling it the curse of the Mansard roofs. Curse is broken, people. Curse is broken. Cash flow. Sup, real estate freaks? What's up, Johnny? Our workman. Sup? Yeah, there you go. Good. I like it when guys talk to each other. Robert Fairlight. Speaking of arms, Granite State Credit Union does 10% down, 7-year arms at 4.25, no points for 1 to 4 owner occupied. Okay. Should I do it as a person that only has 2 other duplexes? I mean, the only concern that I have is a 7-year arm. And does the property cash flow? Can you get what you need to? Can you get what you need to out of it? Okay. Sorry, I got to get back to it. Here we go. Let's see. If the deal makes sense at 925, of course. Yeah, honestly. I mean, you could see 9s. You could see 9s. You could see 10s. You could. I have no idea what we're going to see. No idea. That's why I'm paying down that heavy debt. I just am. Paying down that heavy debt. Your tenant is growing weed and wants you to pay for the light bill. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It's highly unlikely because they do get inspected twice a year. So it's highly unlikely. And that if they're growing it to that level, I would think that it'd be much more expensive than a couple $100. This is another advantage of being in the market. When we saw that bump from the utility companies, we got it at our house. We saw it and it was a lot. It was like 60%. It was a lot. That was one of the things where we looked at it and we said, all right, we need to get a bunch of these out of our name. And that's part of just sending a tenant a letter and saying, you're going to need to take it over from here. So I just saw an electric bill for $2,800 from a tenant. I can't believe it didn't get shut off, but it hasn't gotten shut off. Robert, they were mining Bitcoin. Yeah, right. That's a thing now for sure. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It could be either of those. Financial firefighter. How would you handle a tenant request to replace a water heater? Some areas in Pennsylvania, a rental property has to pass inspection to be a rental. Property passed inspection, but inspector told the tenant that the water heater is old and a liability. Yeah, like what does he know? Like, come on, dude. Tenant now would like the water heater replaced. How would you handle this request? So the answer is not no out of the gate. There are some things it's a complete no out of the gate because the person that shared their opinion doesn't have an opinion worth sharing. However, in this particular case, I would look at how old is the unit? Has it caused any problems? And is it what made it a liability, right? If that inspector is giving them that information, I call the inspector. Sure, I'd like to understand. So you said to my tenant that it was a liability. I'd like to understand what you mean. If you're going to open your big mouth, then you open yourself up for a return phone call. Sorry, but not sorry at all. People, this is why you guys will see in my comments, there's a lot of channels that do it differently than I do. If you're going to be a moron in my comment section, I'm going to call you a moron. Sorry, way it goes. If you're just there to clown on us, you can clown, fine, knock yourself out. Enjoy going to work Monday for the rest of your life. Whatever. It is what it is. But if you want to have discord and if you want to have a conversation, man, I'm all about that. You have a differing view. But if you're like these people that are inspectors, listen, you can inspect all you want. You were called there, you walked through, we got the license or the permit or whatever was needed to rent out the place. You piped up and you said that you thought that there was a problem. I'd like to understand what the problem was. Because now you're on notice that there could be a problem, right? I want to take care of my tenant and I want to take care of the property. Likely the inspector is just a big mouth showing everybody how much he knows. Usually. But that's just me. So and I'm rude, but that's what I would do. That's what I would do. Do you qualify as real estate professional status? Yes, my wife does. I don't. Doesn't cost seg only benefit you if you have REP status? No. Does your wife have REP status? Yes. No, cost seg does not only benefit you if you're a real estate professional. Guys, watch the video. They gave you a link to set up on Calendly a free 15-minute consultation. Free. I pushed hard. I said, I want to bring value. So discount, consultation call, 15 minutes, free of charge, no money. Guys, flood their phone lines tomorrow. Make the call. Worst thing they can tell you is, nah, I wouldn't bother doing a cost seg. Because you know what's really cool? They'll actually tell you that. Like, nah, I wouldn't do a cost seg if I were you. I'm telling you, make the call. A little bit of effort, a lot of money coming back, potentially. Ira Workman, when you have skin in the game, things change. Yep. Maybe we should do this with voters. Must own property or run a business before you can vote. I think it's important that my view on that, and this is about as political as I get, is I believe at the end of the day, if I believe that everyone has the right to vote, even if they don't own land, that's me. I'm okay with renters voting, of course. The only thing that I ever have an issue with is basically the double-sidedness of things. If you're on a program and you're voting for the person that wants the program as opposed to the people that don't want the program, well, then the program obviously creates the environment where people then vote only that way based on what the program tells them to do, because it's survival of the fittest and what they want in that regard. So I have no problem if somebody doesn't want to have a job. I just don't want to have a safety net for them. I think that people need to earn their own way. I had to earn my own way. I was making $5 an hour at a video store. I was pumped when I got a raise to $5.25. My 40-hour take home was $167 a week. And I found a way to survive, and I found a way to get out of it and work and grind and push hard. And all I want is I want everyone to have the opportunity to do the same. And there are 11 million jobs out there that people can go grab. And if it's something that you aren't trained for, talk to the company. They have a ton of training programs. I know Sig Sauer, they're hiring hundreds of people, and they offer training programs for all the different disciplines for people to get in there. And even if you start off, I have a friend started off basically cleaning up floors and then became a materials person and then became a planner. And it's like, they're an integral part of that company now. And it took them 5 years to get to that job. I just think that there's a lot of opportunity. So yeah, not run a business. I don't want, or, yeah, I want to tie it to, you know, citizens for sure. Like if you're a citizen, then you get a vote. You know, if I go to Russia, I don't get the chance to vote. You know, if I go to Colombia, I don't get the chance to vote. That's kind of all I have to say on that. Jay Smith, hi Lumberjack Landlord, we love you. Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate that. All-nighter hider. Water heaters have a longevity rating. Is your water heater within the rating? Yep, that's the one thing that that's what I would ask. Because if it's a 6 year, so if it's a 6 year heater and it's 7 years old, change it. You're going to change it and it's going to have a big cost to it because the bottom rotted out. They use different gauges of metal on the bottom of water heaters. And if you get a 6, an 8, a 10, or a 12, do you know what the main thing is that changes? The thickness of the metal on the bottom and the interior and the internal parts. That's what the difference is. More expensive than the warranty that they give. Yep. So yeah, if it's a 6 and it's 7 years old, I would just change it anyway. I would like to know what they thought was a liability, because if it's something different, then I wouldn't just go arbitrarily change it. And it's going to be a, you know, $1,200 cost probably to get swapped out. So I would just call and make sure you understand for sure. Laura San Diego, Matthew Paris, glad to hear you're safe. I agree. Damasta, waiting for the lead abatement order video. Me too. We just got the lead order. We just got it. It took about a month for us to get it. Actually about 6 weeks. So it's 6 weeks to get it. So this week I actually have a call with them for next steps, and I'm going to walk everybody through that process, but I have a call with them this week. So yep, we should have one this week. I was expecting it last week, didn't happen, but now this week, because I actually had to get the physical lead order, and I did, where we have to sign for it in the mail. All right, finally, I was asking the company you use refinishing tubs and the company you buy window casing and molding from. Oh, okay. LaValle Middleton is where I buy that stuff from. The finishes and stuff. And then the tub company is Miracle Method out of Dover. And you can talk to Emma on the phone. She's amazing. Yeah, they were the ones at the top. Yep. Baseboard. Yep. Yep, that's who. LaValle Middleton. Let's see. The two company are all I need to know to get cracking on my other questions. Are less important. All good. Yeah, those are the ones. Yeah, LaValle Middleton. And so basically it was Middleton, then they bought LaValle's, and so they became LaValle Middleton, and they have like 27 locations. They do have some in Manchester. They have some massive sites in Manchester. 7.25 inch base is what we use. JC, with interest rates rising, do you see commercial cap rates rising? I think that the biggest thing I see happening is prices coming down on commercial. That's the biggest thing I see coming is commercial. I think commercial pricing is going to take a hit. Angelica P, thank you. You're welcome, Angelica. Jay Markey, hi Matt. What is the appropriate time to ask for seller credits during the negotiation process? In my case, I'm buying a FSBO without an agent. The appropriate time is after you've had the inspection. I'm more thoughtful about it when it's a FSBO. I would get a couple quotes on that work and just say, you know, this is what they're ballparking it at. If we want to get more accurate, I would just need to show it to them. But whatever it was during the inspection, you likely have pictures. You can share with them, hey, based on the pictures that were taken, this is what it was quoted out for. I'm not asking you to pay for the whole thing because I don't ask them to pay for the whole thing ever. I tell them I'm not asking them to pay for the whole thing. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Everyone getting their first delivery of fuel this year. Let's see. Yeah, so I would make sure you get a couple quotes on it based on the pictures that you have, and then just figure out what the number is that you think is fair. So we had one where the guy's like, yeah, the deck needs replacing. And when it was all said and done, you know, it was like, I showed them, I said, we got a quote for 10 grand and a quote for 12 grand. I don't want you to buy me a brand new deck, but we got to take something into account. And so we did. We took something into account. I think, where did we end up on that? 7, 6. I think 6. So I got a half price deck. Well, so I felt comfortable with the guy at 10. So I was like, yep, we'll just do the guy at 10. And then we got 6. And so it cost us $4,000 for a brand new deck. That was good. And we actually spent actually 6 because we upgraded and got some nicer railings. And railings are unbelievably expensive. Ironwood Workman, Sherwin-Williams is what most pros use yet, but Glidden and Bear work. If you know what you're doing, they're harder to use. Yeah, agreed. I like Benjamin more. I think it's a better product than all of them actually. But all of my guys are happy and they don't complain. Thank God I didn't say anything derogatory. Sorry, guys. All right, that's what happens when you send the wrong text. Thankfully, I didn't say anything rude or mean. No problem. Big deal right now with what energy prices are. Big deal right now is heating oil is about $4.50 a gallon. And so most tanks, when you start off the season, you do a fill, it's typically 250 gallons. So do the quick math. And that basically means that you're spending just about $1,100 on your first tank of oil for the season. So we actually worked and contracted with a company to do a bunch of these fills for us. And for some of our tenants, we just said, we'll make it reimbursable. And then that's something that you guys can get back. Ryan Allen, how often do you have a natural gas furnace looked at? What about forced hot air vent cleaning? Natural gas is 2 to 3 years. Yeah, we do 2 to 3 years on natural gas. Yeah. Oh, we only have a little bit left. We only have about 8 minutes left. Aaron, I commented a few weeks ago about building to rent. Interest rates over 8.5 ruin the numbers. No alligators. Exactly. Yeah, that's totally get it. Yeah, I don't think building to rent's the right plan. I largely don't think it's the right plan close to ever. When you're getting debt at 3.5, sure. When you're getting debt kind of in the 5, 6, and 7s, I don't think so. I wouldn't be building to rent. Let's see. Good call, Iron. I prefer SW. Yep. But all-nighter hider, be honest. Have you used Benjamin Moore Regal Select? I will lay off if you've used Benjamin Moore Regal Select. You answer me, you let me know. Let's see. Forced hot air vent cleaning. We don't have a lot. We have only a few places that have forced hot air, FHA. And I think we get them cleaned every couple of years. Yeah, nothing crazy. Percentage great. I think I'm just kidding. Would be an excellent guest on QTR. I think you'd be an excellent guest on Lumberjack Landlord. I love doing collabs with Simon. I think they're a blast. He's awesome. Completely different perspective. So ironwood. So ironwood makes a point about a drain pan on a water heater. They work, sort of. They don't work awesome. Like if that thing goes, they work if you get the sensor. So you just want to get the drain pan with the sensor. However, if you do that in every single one of your houses, it's expensive. It's easier to just stay up on maintenance, largely speaking. Robert Filernelli, 9.25 is maximum rate. It could be there's a 5% cap. Yeah. I mean, then if I would run that, I would run those numbers for sure. Mad 76, great content today. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. Appreciate you. Nicholas Massey, how do we all leverage equity in rentals where the rates are so good? Are we stuck now? So that's a great question. The way that you do it, the only way to really do it is with HELOCs, in my eyes. The only way to do it is with HELOCs or maybe a second mortgage. I think second mortgages are going to be tough on investment properties, and HELOCs are already tough, but I would be looking at HELOCs with Convoy Mortgage because I think they have a 40-year AM HELOC product that they've done. So I would just look at that. That's what I would look at. God. Success can be handed out. It can only be earned. Cannot be handed out. It can only be earned. That's true. Elise, fire me, please. Good morning from LA. Thanks for all you do for the community. Elise, my pleasure. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Oh, sorry. Just scroll down. I saw a couple super chats. Vatsal just got here watching from the start. Thanks, Vatsal. Appreciate you. Brian Beck. Can't wait for the course. Me too. I can't wait to be done with the course because it is killer. Where I differ is you guys know how to find good deals. I'm going to show you some little nuances, like a couple little things that I do to find more deals. But the big thing is the daily management, how to manage tenants, how to, get great renters, how to drastically reduce the drag that you have, but still be getting that market rent. Too often people will swap them. They'll say, well, I have a great tenant, so I don't really care about market rent. Or I have a horrible tenant, but I really want market rent, but I'm at market rent and now I have a horrible tenant. I'll show you the kind of what I call the value approach. That value approach is, I think, very valuable. I don't think I've used Benjamin Moore Regal Select. I'll keep it on the radar. No all-nighter hider. You threw down with Sherwin-Williams. I'm saying you got to try Regal Select. I kid. Vatzel, may I suggest 2x speed? I mean, I don't like listening to myself at 2x. Heck, I don't like listening to myself at 1x. So much good info here. Love the network. Looking forward to when I can give back too. Awesome. That's what makes this work, guys. All right. So I know I missed some questions up here. I'm running short on time. Got to run in just literally a few minutes. RE3. I had a under the counter low boy hot water heater go out. Yep. Lasted at least 10 years. Replaced it with a Ream 6-year warranty. Plus playing with the Amex Platinum gives you an extra year. Exactly. This was a condo in Hawaii. HOA fees over CapEx, but stuff like appliances still go out. Yeah, for sure. I still self-manage 3 units. I can imagine 100, you would need some serious systems in place. Honestly, the systems came when I was small. And as I grew, I would just tweak them a little bit. That's what allowed me to grow as big as I did, or as big as I am, 124, and a lot bigger next week. I haven't disclosed what that final number is, but I will next week because we'll close on everything next week. But that's the biggest difference. The biggest difference is, so it was one of those things where Dion spends 2 to 4 hours a month, and that got blown out of the water this month with the well issue that he had. And so he probably spent, a half a year's worth of hours just handling that well issue. But that being said, yes. So 16 units and we're 124. So we're 8 times the size. And so being about 8 times the size, he spends 2 or 3 hours a month. So would I spend 16 to 25 hours a month? No, not right now. However, when we get through a bunch of these units and we get, the tenants decide to leave or move out and we then rehab them, we rehab them in a way where we know that unit is largely going to be good. for if it doesn't have a problem in the first couple of months because something was done incorrectly, which is pretty rare, but it does happen. But then we know that that unit is probably good for 5 to 10 years before we have to start changing anything out. So that's what drastically reduces our drag in being able to manage the business. Hey, Vatzel, good morning. All-nighter header. Water heaters tend to go out when the manufacturer expects. That's very true. They have amazing people. If they had created Zillow and Open Doors algorithm, it would have worked. RE3. What's up, Hyder? That's right. Good guys. Either RE3. Hope you're well, my friend. Barack Shawazori. Good morning. I appreciate you being on the live stream. Good morning from LA. Do you think 40 or 50-year mortgage will be the new normal in the future? Yes, I do. Japan has 100-year mortgages. No joke. They have 100-year mortgages. I think 40s are absolutely going to become commonplace. I don't think 50s, but I think 40s. Think about how long it took to get to 30s, right? But now think about 40s are going to be here. It's going to take even a lot of time for those to normalize. Normalize. I know that they're available, but normalize. Everyone still talks 30-year. So I think it'll take a while for a 4-year to normalize, 40-year to normalize, and then we'll see on the 50. Yeah, but the 50s, I think, at least a decade away, if not more. Ironwood Workman, all-nighter heater. The water heater is gas. It could be a venting issue. Yep, with the cap of the vent pipe, old, wrong, or kind. Yep, could be. Ryan Allen, did you finally find a company give you a good rate on fuel for the winter? It's a great question. I found they were talking in the 8s 2 months ago. Now we're talking in the high 4s. So it's good. It's not spectacular, but it's a lot better. But I think that we're probably going to pre-buy 7,000 gallons, I think. So if we pre-buy 7,000 gallons at the price that we agreed to, it's about 30 grand, right around there, give or take. All-nighter hyder, yeah, that could be an easy fix, correct. Yes. LOL, I love 2x speed. Thanks. Robert Fairnight, thanks for the stream, Matt. Time for some apple picking. Go get it, Robert. We did that last weekend. It was a lot of fun. I've used Benjamin Moore, but cannot remember if it was Benjamin Moore Regal Select. I'm going to give it a try because of you, Lumberjack. I'm telling you, the Regal Select product, solid. It's good. And tell them that you're a landlord, tell them that you're a craftsman, tell them what you are, because they want those kind of clients. They are very proactive at trying to buy Sherwin-Williams customers. And their product is basically the same as far as I can see in some slight advantages. I found it to be a little bit more cleanable. The Regal, what do they call that? Emerald. Emerald is what Sherwin calls it. I'm telling you, love that stuff. Question, has depreciation changed with the length of mortgages or always been 27.5 years? I don't know. I know that it's 27.5 now. I know it's 39 on commercial. I don't know if that changed. It may have changed when we went to 30s being more the standard, but that was a long time ago. That was before I was buying. So I don't know the answer to that question, Hyder, but it's a great question. Our Workman, oh no, let's see. Yeah, you guys probably, if you guys haven't used Benjamin Moore in the last 2 or 3 years, you haven't used their Regal Select line. That was their new technology, new developed line. I'm telling you. You paint a room or paint a place, an apartment with Regal Select, Benjamin Moore, and then do it with Sherwin. You let me know which one's better. I can probably get the Benjamin Moore rep to do a video with us to talk about why it's so much better, but I want you guys to try it. That way you can ask questions. Cyrus V, how do you speak so confidently about the future on the market, mortgages, etc., when you have not been in the market long enough to experience all the ups and downs, unlike seasoned investors? Cyrus, are you new here? 22 years. 22 years I've been investing. I can answer any question you'd like. 22 years. I have far more time in the market than 95% of YouTube, because I'm not a YouTuber trying to be a house flipper, trying to be a landlord. I'm a landlord. I'm a businessman that does YouTube to help other people out. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but 22 years is how long. That's my first deal I did was 22 years ago. So I started at 0 and now I'm 22 years, 124 units, 43 buildings, and I've done probably 60 or 70 transactions. So that's my street cred. I've been 4+ years since I used BM. Yep, you're getting me excited to paint. Hyder, somebody's got to get me excited to paint. I hate painting. We actually used to do all of our own painting, and then I found a guy who's just like amazing at it, and he's fast. He's so fast. He's really good. Morning, Matt. Does having a Cyrus fee? Oh, got it. My bad, dude. All good. I just wanted to give you my street cred. I have no problem people challenging the cred, but then I got to give it. So that's the only reason I give it. But I'm happy to answer your question, Cyrus. But yeah, honestly, I didn't even tell my story. In 08, so the mistake, so I'll tell you the number. In August, I had 8 renters in August of 08. In September, when the market crashed, I had 3 that paid. In October, I had 1 that paid. But my mistake that I made was I bought in the transition area that was just in the process of transitioning, number 1. Number 2, I thought it was good. Stupid. I thought it was good to have a bunch of people in the construction industry because I thought, yeah, if something comes up, they can help fix it. That was a horrible idea. That was a horrible idea because I had sheetrockers, framers. I didn't have handymen. I had sheetrockers, I had framers, I had a mortgage person. Bad. Like literally, when the economy shut off, all of them out of jobs. And they literally stopped paying right then. So I've changed my portfolio now, but that's why I can be so confident about it. To answer your question, honestly, that's why I can be so confident about it. I have no idea if rates are going to 10 or 12. I don't know. Here's what I do know. If a deal now makes sense with 30-year fixed rate debt and it gets me the return on capital that is above market average, that's a deal. That's a deal that I do. So it's that kind of knowledge of it. So hopefully that helps your question. So I don't mind being challenged, but I want to make sure that you know where I'm coming from. Hi, Matt, everyone joining late. I will catch up in this portion later on in the recording. All good, Anna. We're almost done. Dry, they don't pick up paint anymore. Yeah. Painting advice, roll what you can't brush, spray what you can't roll, keep your tools wet, and dunk your roller before rolling all of the paint out of it. Yep, rollers are not like sponges. If they roll dry, yeah, they don't pick up paint anymore. Yep, true story. They make special covers and things like that. You know, those plastic bags that you get at the stores. I just carry those, put that plastic bag on it, tie it around the end, put a rubber band on it, boom, done. And it's good for, a lot of times that's good for weeks. And we paint often enough where that actually comes into play. REI Stoners, morning. Does having a fence and landscape property bring value add? It brings value. It doesn't usually bring, sometimes it will bring more rent. More often what it brings is a higher quality tenant because you'll see more people come in and higher rents, so higher perceived value. It might not necessarily correlate to higher rent, but it is one of those things where I pride myself because my units don't last long on the market. In a day, I'll have 100 inquiries because people want to live there, right? And so on my dated properties, you see less traffic, but still crazy traffic in this market, not in a normal market. In a normal market, it might take a couple of weeks to rent something out. In this market, it's a day or 2, 3, and it's rented. Do I allow fire pits? The only thing you want to do with fire pits is make sure that they have a permit from the fire department and ask your insurance company if that's allowed. Those are the two those are the two that I would make sure you're doing. Ding, I'm 3 hours behind. I will watch recording as usual. Happy Sunday with your children. Thanks, Anna, to you too. Missed you here. You always ask great questions. And then Travis Brennan, Sunday. It's true. Sunday. Nicholas Massey, Matt, what's harder, creating a popular YouTube channel or being a long-term real estate investor? I don't know. I don't think I've created a successful YouTube channel yet. I think it's good. And I love that you guys are a part of it. And I love doing this with you guys. I love the journey that we share together. I like answering questions and helping people because no one was there to help me when I did it. Yeah, I don't think, to me, I'm not successful yet. It feels great when I know that I've helped people because that's what the purpose of this is. But I haven't determined what success is in this thing yet. I want to remain a businessman and a real estate entrepreneur, and an investor. I want to remain that, and then have YouTube be something that I do to help other folks. I don't want to do this full time. I don't. Not yet. Not yet. My feelings will probably change when I lose a 50-hour-a-week job. But right now I don't. Right now I don't. I want to help people out with stuff that I've experienced and how we've gotten through it. That's kind of what my goal is at this point. So hopefully that's helpful. But yeah, I think so. Yeah, so if the channel gets really big in less than 7 years, then probably I'm still skilling up in the YouTube game. I don't really spend a lot of time trying to skill up, if that makes sense. I kind of do the low-hanging fruit stuff, which is just I work with vendors to try and get you guys deals, vendors that I use, and I try and share my experiences. That way, if you're seeing the same thing developing in what you're doing, maybe my experience saves you some money and time. So I don't know. That's a really good question. I'll have to try and figure it out. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been asked that question. So thank you for asking it, Nicholas. That's a great question. Cyrus, appreciate your response. Matt, do you think now is a good time to purchase a home to live in? I'm a renter in PA, or should I wait for markets to cool down further? So here's what I would tell you. I wouldn't tell you to wait researching and doing the math and trying to understand everything. And Ironwood, I saw yours. I'm going to get to, I promise. I saw that there were 3 in a row. So that's a great question, Cyrus. I would be doing the work right now. The one video I would say, if you said, Matt, what's the one video of yours I should watch? You should watch 4-3-2-1 strategy. That's the video that you should watch. That's the one. That's the one video where I can share with you how those were the building blocks of how I got wealthy in real estate. That's the one that I would share off to you. My uncles have over 1,000 rentals. Wow, of all types, commercial with auto dealerships. They also build 50 acres at a time. Dang, new homes 500 to 750. That's going to be a little slow. Right now, they are selling and have stopped building as much. Totally get it. I like using a 6-inch weenie rollers to paint. Oh, I get it. Yep. It's the Lance Armstrong theory of lower gear, more reps wins the race. Are your rollers doping too? Oh, Ironwood Workman, trust me, I can see that Matt knows the game, and I have not known his work for very long. I appreciate that, Ironwood. I appreciate the respect. I really do. I don't know everything, but I'll tell you what I don't know. If you come to me and ask me how to do a sub-2 deal, I'd send you to Pace Morby. Pace Morby's a rock star. I watch his stuff because I haven't done any sub-2. Seller financing, I've done a couple now, and I'm starting to get the hang of it. Every deal I made a mistake that I would do better. Yep, that I would do better. Yeah, doping rollers. Where are they stopping on the ride to work with Ferrari, right? I'm a workman. Problem for me is that they are busy and they have not teach me very much. Yeah, they only work my ass off. So that's one of the things that I actually do for all the guys that work with me. I actually at least once a month we'll either do it like a sit down talk and talk about stuff. But I also share with them in the moment when something is happening. Hey, do you know why we picked to do it this way? So I want to teach them all along the way. My hope is that they stay with me and stay with my company. My hope is that they stay. I believe I treat them really well. I believe I pay them really well. I do special things for them because they are really appreciated. My company can only grow a lot bigger if I treat my people right. And they know that I have not only the interest in them working with me moving forward, but that I also want to impart some knowledge on them because I want them to have a chance to do this too. So they get the same access to me that you guys do on Lumberjack Landlord, but I will also spend one-on-one time with them, answering questions, talking about the conversation. Why do we do this? Here's a property we just did, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, so I think that's really important. I like to spend time with my guys doing that stuff. It means a lot to me, actually. I want to see guys on my staff. It's not a requirement, but I'd like to see guys on my staff that have a desire. One of my guys said it best this week. And I just love the way he said it. He goes, I feel like when I'm working with you, that $1 million is just a few years away. And I just have to listen, do the work, and then I'm going to eventually get there. I was honored by that comment, but I think he's also right. I think he's so right. It makes me want to work for him. I work for him. It makes me want to talk to him about, hey, the reason we did it this way was X. This is what I want to make sure. And so he's great to work with. I love working with him. He's actually he's actually our lead PM, project manager. And he's great. And he's fantastic to work with. So I really appreciate him and how hard he works. It's a privilege to work with these guys. And yeah, the guys, quite frankly, that wash out are the ones that don't put any value on that. And, you know, I can tell you that he's our lead PM and our emergency guy. He's worked maybe 3 Saturdays in a year. And he's maybe gone out after 7 o'clock at night 3 times, 4 times. So we do a lot to make sure that our guys' time and time with their family is valued. And yeah, that's why I think we're great to work with. I mean, technically 4 because I pay him. But he works with us and we talk about, you know, the goals for the week. And tonight we actually, on Sunday nights, I put together the list of here's the things we have to get accomplished this week. And that's what we do. That's what we'll work on this week to get those list of things accomplished. So, but I really appreciate my guys. They work hard for me. And it's an honor to work with them. So, all right, it's 1:17. I see no other questions. So we got to do our dice roll. Dice roll for the shirt. And the shirts did go out this week. Those should be all set. I did verify. Oh, there he is. Look at that. What's up, brother? What up, big baller? Like the videos, fellas. Support your loudest quiet quitter. Oh, thanks, Millennial Mike. I appreciate it. Millennial Mike's been working his butt off because I love doing collabs with him. He's just been working his butt off. Yeah. So, yeah. So we'll get together for sure. Do more stuff together. I love doing work with you, guys. One thing I would ask you, aside from hitting the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. The one thing I would really ask of you guys, please watch that cost seg video. Please. If you have questions, please call them. I got them to give you a free 15-minute consult. I want the phones ringing off the hook this week. You need to do that. This is a thing that I'm telling you could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Don't take my word for it. Ask them. They will tell you, say, this is the situation. And they will say, nope, I wouldn't do a cost seg. That was the commitment that I got from them. They said, listen, we want to do cost seg for people that need cost seg. I want to make sure you guys do that. Corby, awesome. Awesome. Guys, the link is in that video. Watch that video. Watch it all the way through. Make sure that when you do that, that you set up that 15-minute. I'm telling you, you will regret it if you don't, because if you do qualify and it does make sense for you, I want you to know. If it doesn't make sense, all good. I'm not telling you to buy something that doesn't help you, but I think that will be your biggest regret, and you got to get ready. You got to get ready. Tax season's right around the corner. You need to be having that conversation. Based on the conversation, have that conversation first with DIY cost seg. Have the conversation with them first. Then go to your CPA and say, hey, would a cost seg report help me? And if they don't know, find another CPA, because I did. That's what I did. My guy was like, cost seg. I was like, explain to me what it is. Well, you know, it's something we can kind of look into for you. Nope, you don't know what it is. Nope, you're fired. You're so fired. Fired. You're fired. I had to fire him. He didn't really know what it was. He was trying to shine me on. Come on, fired. Done. Found another accountant. He knows exactly what it is. He used it. It saved me a ton of money. I'm telling you, I really want that for you guys if it fits. But have the conversation with DIY. Have the conversation with them. And if then they say, yeah, this probably makes sense, I would run it past your CPA, run it past the CPA. If the CPA says, No, we need to find another CPA, fine. But don't do it unless the CPA knows what it is and says it will benefit you. Then at that point, it's well worth doing because you only do it once. For any property you buy, you only do it one time. That report is the report for its lifetime. Wouldn't you rather depreciate something on a 5-year basis, a 15-year basis, and a 27.5-year basis instead of everything on a 27.5-year basis? Just saying. All right, last couple questions. Much love to you, you badass RE working mofos. Back at you, Hyder. I want to know your feedback, man. I know that you know how to paint. So I want your feedback on the Benjamin Moore Regal Select. Because when I painted, I could see that it was marginally better. I felt like it was better, but it was much cheaper. So I want to know. Matthew Paris, you can add GFCI protected outlets on a 2-wire circuit in lieu of rewiring here in Florida. Not the best option, but cheaper than 10K complete rewiring. It is, and if you look on my video, I actually posted TR, tamper resistant, GFCIs. They're about $10 a piece. So even if you have to replace 10 of them, 10 outlets in your house or 20 outlets in your house, guess what? It's much less expensive and they're not ugly. You don't have to buy ones that have red and black. You can actually buy the ones, I believe, check your state law, but I believe you can buy the ones that have just white. So they actually still look really good. And to their point is it does save you $10,000 on a rewire. It's done much less expensively. Even if you had to change all the outlets in your house, it might cost you $400, maybe $5. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Corby Cutter, link to an article. What article did I mention? Sorry, my bad, Corby. Lumberjack Landlord, did you see the article in BI that featured all of you Zuber? Yeah. Yep. The more recent one, I hadn't seen the recent one. I've been written up there like 5 times. I hope they're not using a bunch of my old stuff. Some of those strategies don't work anymore because you have to grow with what the market is. But yeah, Corby Cutter, I'd have to post it in the comment section. Okay, cool. Yeah, when we end this, it'll go to the comments. All right, let's do a roll of the die because it's almost 1:30 and I gotta go. I'm sure one of my kids is asleep, or my kids. I know the baby's asleep by now. Oh, Neeland, #1, buddy. Phil Neeland's the winner chicken dinner. All right, Neeland, send me an email, lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com, lumberjacklandlord@gmail.com. Send me the size, my man. Neeland, if he's still around. He might not even still be around, but that's okay. Video lives on forever. Arizona Joe. Hey, Arizona Joe. Yep. #1. Bill Neeland. Cool. Guys, you all have a fantastic week. I'll give a detailed description on Regal Select. I'm ready for it. Send me an email, post in the video, come back in the live stream. Tell me what you loved and hated about it. I love the product. All of my painters like it. And the big thing is, if I can't tell an appreciable difference, I know Sherwin-Williams costs about 20% more. So forget about the service side. And on the service side, yeah, service side is not even close. Benjamin Moore account is awesome. They're fantastic. So I'll look forward for the review. Hyder, guys, have an awesome week. Hit the like and subscribe button if you would be so kind. I hope you guys all have a fantastic week. It's always an honor to be here, spending time with you guys. And next week's going to be a big week. Don't forget Dion's live stream at 4 o'clock Pacific time on Tuesday. And then I think next week's kind of back to normals. We'll do Lumberjack on one rental at a time. Now I've got some guests. I got another guest speaker next week. Really excited to bring that to you guys. I think it'll kind of like crush your mind. It's awesome. But more stuff coming. So, and we'll give you an update on the 3 deals that we've got in contract that we should be closing on next week. Ira Workman, thank you. See you. Take care. Yep. I'll see you all next time. Thanks, Matt and everyone. Yeah, good for you guys. I appreciate you guys. It's a blast always hanging out with you. I hope you guys have a fantastic week and that we taught you something new today. And yeah, I got something next week that's going to blow your minds. I have not seen anybody else do this. And so we'll see. I've had bad ideas before. I'll have them again. Hopefully this isn't one. So appreciate you guys. Have a great week. Take care.